Turn to the ranking member of the full committee, Mr. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is a real crisis unfolding on our public lands that we really should be talking about today, but we're not. In just 2 months, President Trump and an unelected billionaire crony of his, Elon Musk, have upended every federal agency, recklessly laying off thousands of public servants, blocking critical funding for grants and critical projects, closing and attempting to sell key office buildings throughout the country, and the result is chaos and dysfunction across the government. The damage to our public lands is significant. Stop work orders are stalling or canceling wildfire mitigation projects. We may lose an entire season of wildfire preparation. Partner organizations are halting maintenance work that ensures safe public access to our public lands. Scientific research that informs how we manage habitat, how we adapt to climate change, which is a real thing, is being shelved. And now we're just 3 days away from a federal government shutdown. And despite all of this, Republicans in this committee have shown no interest in actual real oversight. They even refuse to question the so-called Department of Government Efficiency or any of its reckless half-baked schemes that are coming out of this administration. And in fact, to make it worse, they're getting ready to vote on what they call a CR, is actually a partisan full-year funding bill that surrenders all Article 1 authority to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, provides a rubber stamp for them to do even more of these reckless, destructive actions without any concern from our friends across the aisle. Meanwhile, the data continues to disappear from Mr. Musk's error-filled, quote, wall of receipts, which is really a wall of errors. Each new revelation exposes this initiative as arbitrary, haphazard, destructive, and from the other side, we hear deafening silence. The federal government is not a startup business. This is not a place to go fast and break things, and if you think that's a good idea, you're going to own the stuff that they break. When it fails, real people get hurt. And yet there is this strange infatuation with this Silicon Valley style experiment. They are breaking things. And anyone who is complicit in that owns the consequences. To be clear, Democrats do support rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. We would love to work with you on bipartisan approaches to this. We welcome serious discussions on that front. That is not what's happening today. The Trump administration's goal is not efficiency, it's destruction. And the American people did not vote to destroy government or to crash the economy. As bad as it already is, it is about to get worse. They have signaled an intention just last week to add an additional 7,000 layoffs from the Forest Service. We can debate policy differences all day, but the reality is that these agencies can't function without staff. The writing is on the wall. Trump and Musk aren't trying to streamline government, they're trying to dismantle it, and they are hurting all of our constituents. Instead of convening a hearing on that, which is the real crisis facing public lands, we have a flashy messaging bill before us. This is obviously a misdirection. No one seriously believes the Flash Act will somehow safeguard our public lands. And to the extent they need safeguarding, the ranking member is exactly right. They can make one phone call to the Department of Interior and get everything that they would hope to achieve through this bill. This bill does nothing to address the real threats facing our land management agencies. It does nothing about chronic underfunding, about staffing shortages or forced attrition that are hollowing these agencies out. That's the real crisis. Our public lands are being turned into a sacrifice zone for Elon Musk and Donald Trump to cook up some cuts to provide billionaire tax cuts. So I could say a lot about the legislation before us, but the bottom line is this committee is not judiciary. This committee is not Homeland Security. We are torturing the jurisdictional limits of this committee so that we can have a conversation about Republicans' favorite subject. And because our jurisdiction is public lands right now, the greatest threats to our land isn't at the border. It's what we should be talking about, but we're not. Elon Musk and the White House doing all the damage they are with the chainsaw. I hope we can get back to some serious oversight. I hope we can stop torturing the jurisdiction of this subcommittee, and I yield back.